Hey guys, and welcome back. In this lesson, we will talk about complex structures, which are really important for getting a good score in grammar in your IELTS speaking exam. First, we will talk about why complex sentences are so important. Then, we will ask the question, what are complex sentences? And finally, I will give you 4 complex structures that you can use to achieve a higher score in your speaking test. Okay, guys, let's first take a look at why complex structures are important. And we will do this by looking at the band descriptors for IELTS speaking. Let's have a look at a band score of 5 and see what it says. So we're looking at grammatical range and accuracy. So band score 5 uses a limited range of more complex structures, but these usually contain errors and may cause some comprehension problems. Okay, so basically guys, this means that you don't use many different complex structures and usually you make mistakes. Let's see what number 6 says. Uses a mix of simple and complex structures. Okay. And number 7, where many of you should be aiming, or indeed above 7, uses a range of complex structures. All right, so here we mean many different complex structures. Frequently produces error-free sentences, though some grammatical mistakes persist. So this means that most of your sentences are correct, but there are some grammar mistakes. But if you want to score 7 or above, which many of you do, I'm sure, you need to use a range of complex sentences, and that is what we're going to help you with in this lesson. Okay, so first of all, what is a complex sentence? Quite simply, guys, a complex sentence is a sentence that contains 2 or more pieces of information that depend on each other. By depend, we mean that these pieces of information are connected and they need each other to make a full sentence. To make a complex sentence, we use subordinating conjunctions, or just words like although, because of, or in order to, usually at the beginning of a sentence to join the 2 pieces of information. Let's take a look at some examples. The first complex sentence we will look at today is one using although, while, or even though. And as you may know, these words are used to show contrast or difference. Let's have a look at our man here. So the first picture suggests that the man is small, and the second picture suggests that the man is very strong because he is lifting a truck. So we have a contrast here. We don't usually think that things that are small are strong. We could say the man is small, but he is very strong. This is an example of what we call a compound sentence. And it's good, but for IELTS, it's better if we use some complex sentences. So let's look at how we could put this into a complex sentence. Very simply, we could say, although the man is small, he is very strong. We could also say, while the man is small, he is very strong. Or we could say, even though the man is small, he is very strong. Okay, let's take a look at our second structure for today. In this structure, we will use before or after. And as you may know, these words are used to communicate time or when things happen. Okay guys, let's take a look at an example. So in the first picture, I read, and in the second picture, I sleep. So we could say, I read, after that, I sleep. But this is very simple and is not going to get you a lot of marks for grammar in IELTS speaking. It would be much better to say, after reading, I sleep. Or we can reverse that, and we could say, before sleeping, I read. It is important, guys, to remember that when using after and before, we need an ing on our verb. Many students forget this, so take note. Okay, so our next complex structure is one that uses as a result of or because. And as you may know, these words are used to talk about the result of an action. Let's take a look at an example. First of all, I was weak. Then I worked out. And now I am strong. So we could say I worked out, I became strong. But this is a little awkward and unnatural. It's also too simple to get a high score for grammar in IELTS. A better way to do this would be to say, as a result of working out, I became strong. We could also say, because I worked out, I became strong. The next and final complex structures that we will learn today are those that use if, unless, and provided that. These words are used to talk about conditionals. If you are not sure what conditionals are, please review our lesson on tenses because that will give you more information. Okay, let's begin with an example here. You want to take an IELTS exam and you think, I study, I get a good score. I study, I get a good score is okay, but it's very, very simple and is not going to get you a lot of marks in IELTS speaking. There are two better ways to say this. First of all, you could say, if I study, I will get a good score in IELTS. Secondly, you could say, provided that I study, I will get a good score in IELTS. So if and provided that have the same meaning here. We could also look at this in a different way. So when you're thinking about studying IELTS, you have two options, to study or not to study. So you might say, I don't study, I don't get a good score. So here we could also give the conditional in its negative form. You could say, if I don't study, I won't get a good score in IELTS. Or even better, you could say, unless I study, I won't get a good score in IELTS. So unless here is similar to if I do not. We use this word very often in English as native speakers, but it is not often used by English learners or IELTS students. So this is a really great structure to use to impress the examiner. Thank you for joining this lesson, guys. I hope it gave you a better understanding of how to use complex sentences for IELTS because these are really, really important. To complete this lesson, don't forget to take our quiz, which is located below this video. As always, guys, if you have any questions or there's something that you don't understand, feel free to leave a comment below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. See you soon, guys.